January 2024. So welcome to January, welcome to 2024. We're definitely kicking things off in the right direction by having Mercury go direct at 22 degrees, 11 minutes of Sagittarius. So we are busting into January. Of course, the modern day calendar would have us believe that it's the first month. Technically speaking, it's the 11th month. Whichever way you look at it, we're working with the number of 1. 1 is a new beginning. But when we take a look at the 11, of course, that's a master creator number, which means that we're more in a visualization mode about the future, about the goals, about the dream, about the vision that we actually want to take action upon. So that number 1 energy that we're working with, that is initiating a new chapter. That is a brand new beginning. But right now we're not in action mode. We're in visualization mode. We have to plan, we have to strategize, we really have to get the details right, because this year, especially being the year of 8, the very transformative year that it is going to be, we have to be very methodical, very calculated with our energy, with our actions, with the changes, with the transformations that we are planning on making. So yes, January 1st, we are kicking things off in the right direction with Mercury going direct. Of course, Mercury went retrograde in that Capricorn energy. We slipped back into the Sag energy. And this is definitely a more optimistic, more confident, visionary energy than the Capricorn energy would be. Now that we are going direct, first of all, we've had a lot of aha moments, a lot of epiphanies pop off. We're definitely in a totally different realm, different reality now that the timelines are merging. And of course, that began around the 13th of December and definitely started to solidify under that solstice energy of the 21st. With Mercury going direct, now we're going to be able to kind of articulate, if you will, understand the pieces of the puzzle, really put into words what it is that these big ideas, these big thoughts, these big goals, these big visions, these big dreams actually mean to us. And from that, really get down to the nitty-gritty, get down to business, if you will, on coming up with the path, with the plan, with the direction that we need to take in order to actually bring some of these visions, some of these dreams into fruition. Now, because Mercury is about our thought process and our communication styles, we're definitely rethinking a lot of the ideas that we would have had probably dating back to about end of November-ish. We're starting to see more signs, more confirmations, more validations from the universe on being on the right track with the right idea, with the right perspective. Of course, we aren't going to be able to be as clear and concise as we would like to be until we kind of clear this post-retrograde shadow period. However, things are a lot brighter, a lot more positive, a lot, I'm going to say, more plausible than they have been in a very, very long time. We move into a totally different energy on January 4th when Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, even our anger, moves out of the Sagittarius energy that honestly wasn't as productive as we would like. We were more in a idealistic visionary mode than we were in taking action on those particular ideas. But moving into Capricorn energy, we are definitely going to be making up for some lost time. Of course, the Capricorn energy is very deliberate, very methodical, very calculated with what it is that we want to take action upon. So we aren't making moves on impulse. We aren't just making moves for the sake of making moves and taking action. This is a well thought out, very strategic action plan on how it is that we're going to get from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be. Now, this is an interesting dynamic because Mars, again, would prefer to take action and kind of think about the consequences later. But in Capricorn energy, we have to really sit down and consider all of the alternatives, all of the variables, all of the potential consequences from taking the actions that we know that we want to take. Yes, our energy is very, I'm going to say stable, very reliable at this point in time. And we have a hell-bent determination within our energy right now that we can just bust through any challenge, any obstacle that we are faced with. This is going to put us in a different mood, different attitude, because we are a little bit less likely to kind of pop off, throw a tantrum, get frustrated. That Capricorn energy, again, an earth energy, very rooted, very anchored, very grounded in knowing what it is that we have to do, knowing that we are going to face challenges and not let those challenges derail our path, our plans. Now, we're going to move into a very interesting time on the 11th. We have the new moon in Capricorn popping off, and this is where we really get to set our sights on what our action plan is going to be, what our goals are going to be, what it is that we actually want to accomplish. Of course, a new moon is setting the tone on the newness that we actually want to bring to life. And in Capricorn energy, this is big goals, big dreams, big ambitions. So, of course, this particular new moon in Capricorn energy is going to be a time that we are focused on the prize, if you will. And we are focused on the most efficient way to actually get to point B from where it is that we're currently at. We are very resourceful, very disciplined, very future focused under this particular energy. And it's a great energy to get logical, to get practical on what it is that we can actually achieve, what it is that we can actually obtain, what it is that we can actually bring to life. Again, previous to this, we were in a Sagittarius cycle, which just had us dreaming the biggest dream possible, regardless of whether or not we could actually achieve it or not. The Capricorn energy kicks in and we refine it. Now, again, we can take on a little bit of a serious, more somber tone to our lives, to our goals, to our visions, to our dreams. Negative Nancy could come out to play if we allow it. But basically, we're at the very beginning of not only a new year, not only a new chapter, but a new cycle that we officially have control over. So it's definitely a boss up type of energy to set our sights on what it is that we actually believe that we can accomplish and achieve. On January 13th, we have Mercury entering into Capricorn energy again. So of course, we're still in the post-retrograde shadow period until we reach that 8 degrees of Capricorn energy that Mercury went retrograde in. But having Mercury re-enter this Capricorn energy is a little bit of a flashback to December 1st when we first entered into this Capricorn energy. So this is going to be a little bit of a refinement time. Yes, we put the tunnel vision goggles on. Yes, we become super hyper focused on our goals, on our path, on our plan, on our strategy. Yes, we may be overwhelmed with the to-do list, with the roles and responsibilities, but we are thinking in a methodical, strategic type of way. We are very serious, very somber with our approach to the logical, practical way of going about things. We want to tick the things off of the list that we currently feel overwhelmed with. Every task at hand is something that we need to address, that we need to kind of tie up the loose ends over. And when it comes to the way that we are communicating ourselves, we're not really caught up in emotion. We're just caught up in talking about the matter of fact. We're very realistic. We're very focused on logical, practical matters. We don't really want to consume ourselves with the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, or the ifs, ands, and buts. We want to focus on the what is. So we're kind of processing, sorting out, if you will, what is necessary to talk about and focus on at this time and in which order. Again, our priorities, our values have changed. We can thank Venus for that. But now that we're in a different mindset, a different mood, different attitude, we have Mercury in this Capricorn energy kind of getting us down to the no nonsense, no bullshit type of focus in order for us to resolve some issues that are still kind of lingering so that we can get started building towards these new goals that, of course, we have already set for ourselves. So things are going to get super interesting on the 20th. Of course, that is when the sun moves out of the Capricorn energy and moves into Aquarius season, which of course, Aquarius season is the problem solver. We become very aware in Capricorn season of the boundaries, of the restrictions, of the limitations, of the obstacles that we will be facing as we kind of set forth on a new path in a new direction to kind of bring this new vision into fruition. The Aquarius energy has this ability to be very visionary, to understand the greater, grander picture that we're trying to kind of achieve and bring to life, but also understand where it is that we could do things better, where we can improve on some situations, on some scenarios. We have a thirst for knowledge like no other, especially when it comes to figuring out how it is that we are going to kind of override, bust through, break down some of the obstacles, boundaries, limitations that we have been fully aware of after we move through this Capricorn season. So we are a little bit more emotionally removed from our situation, from our circumstances, so that we can act as the observer. But the most interesting thing about the sun moving into Aquarius energy is not kicking off Aquarius season as much as it is the fact that Pluto, the great transformer himself, will be entering into Aquarius energy as well. The sun and Pluto are pretty much holding hands as they move into Aquarius energy. And as you know, Pluto has been doing this back and forth, cha-cha-cha, from Aquarius energy back to Capricorn energy into Aquarius energy again. We do have this cha-cha-cha continuing throughout the 2024 year until November. That's when Pluto will enter into Aquarius for the very last time, and we set up shop there until 2044. So Pluto, being the great transformer himself, through the damage, through the destruction that is needed in order to collapse the old structures, the old ways of doing things in order to build something new, we are definitely problem solving when we move into Aquarius energy. We're problem solving as far as the societal structures go and how we can return the power back to the people. Of course, if you want to go back and listen to the forecast that I put out when Pluto initially jumped into this Aquarian energy, you will kind of grasp a bigger, greater, grander vision of what this particular transit is all about. But essentially, we are kind of, I'm going to say, undoing some of the heaviness. We're kind of alleviating some of the weight. We have been struggling very, very much under the weight of that Capricorn energy. And anytime we dive into Aquarius energy, we are searching for freedom, independence. We are freeing up ourselves from these restrictive boundaries, these restrictive thoughts, these very confining ways of living. And of course, you know, Pluto being a generational planet has more to do with society, with the collective as a whole, but we will see these particular energies kind of shift in our individual lives as well. The Aquarius energy, we are definitely focused more on social structures, politics, returning the power back to the people as far as the government goes, as far as the banking system, the health system, all of the things that we've been talking about. With Pluto being in this Capricorn energy, we are trying to resolve in the Aquarius energy. So we're definitely going to see major shifts in storylines and focuses on the greater, grander scale of the collective, but we are also going to see a major change, major shift, major switch up in our individual lives as well. On the 23rd, we are going to see Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, move into Capricorn energy. So here's where we get serious about our relationship dynamics, about our own self-worth, about our finances. We really take on a more business approach to our relationship dynamics than an emotional one in Capricorn energy. But you best believe that we are going to get shit done. We need a different structure in our relationship dynamics. Coming out of the Sag energy, of course, we were experimenting, we were testing our boundaries with a new perspective, with new methods, new ways of kind of interacting and building upon the relationship dynamics that we did deem of worth, of value for our time, our energy, our attention to continuously be poured into. But now we got to get anchored. We have to kind of, just solidify what is working, what isn't working. We have to get real and raw and vulnerable with where it is that we've been maybe beating a dead horse, beating our head off of a wall, trying to make changes that just aren't working. We kind of set new goals for ourselves where it comes to, of course, finances, but where Venus is very connected to relationship dynamics, we are setting a new goal for how it is that we're going to interact, how it is that we're going to build our realities together, where it is that we need to take the time to really get on the same page with our partners, with our family dynamics, with anyone that we are sharing our time, our energy, our space with. So again, the Capricorn energy kind of removes that emotion, puts us in, resolution mode, if you will. And we really need to kind of dig deep to figure out what it is that we want to build within our own lives and with the people around us. We are going to have a full moon in Leo take place January 25th. And this is going to be probably a little bit of a doozy, and for a couple of reasons. First of all, the Leo energy, being the heart and soul of the zodiac, definitely triggers our heart space. It reminds us of who it is that we actually are as our unique individual selves. But it's also going to be a doozy because it takes us back to the new moon in Leo energy that just took place here in the summer months of 2023. And around that particular time, of course, we had Venus not only in the heart and soul of the zodiac in this Leo energy, but she retrograded there as well. So this is going to be a little bit of a reflection back to that particular time. What has changed in our heart space, in our passion, in our desires, in who it is that we are? Of course, we busted out this new version of self under the new moon in Scorpio. And we've been experimenting. Of course, we anchored that new version of self in under that solstice energy. And now we have to find our balance point once again. The Leo Aquarius axis that we will be dealing with when we're in Aquarius season and we have the full moon in Leo is the identity axis, let's say. The Leo energy is our unique individual identity, what makes us special, what makes us stand out from the crowd, while the Aquarian energy is how we kind of help the collective, how we fit in, how we are kind of working for the team, for the group, versus the Leo energy working for ourselves. There's a new level of creative force energy that we're all kind of tapping into and stepping into, and we need to express this in ways, either art or words or song. There's a lot of talent that comes out under that Leo energy. But this is about us getting to know ourselves. And again, we're on this long-term path, this goal with the North Node in Aries energy to return to thyself, to know who it is that we are, standing on our own 2 feet, kind of dancing to the beat of our own drum. So this particular full moon in Leo is definitely going to highlight where it is that we are individuals and where it is that we have to stop dimming our light in order to fit in with the greater, grander group, with the team, with the partnership, whatever the case may be. There is definitely going to be some conflict that arises because we can't continue to kind of stuff ourselves in the cookie cutter mold that society wants us to fit into, or your family wants you to fit into, or whatever the case may be. And a realization where it is that we have to strike a beautiful balance between maintaining who it is that we are, our unique individual identity in this world, in this realm, and still be a part of something greater. So there's going to be a lot of new feels, new revelations that get triggered and activated under this full moon. And it is happening so that we express ourselves from our realest, rawest, most vulnerable place, especially in getting to know this new version of self, standing in our power and truly expressing what it is that we want, need, desire from the people around us. The last thing that we have going on in January is on the 27th. We have Uranus, the Great Awakener, going direct in Taurus energy. So, of course, we've had Uranus retrograde for quite a few months now. The whole purpose of a retrograde in this Taurus energy was to highlight for us where it is that we've actually been resisting the changes that we know that we need to make, in some cases that we've even been praying for in our physical realm. That Taurus energy has a lot to do with self-worth, self-love, self-respect, self-confidence, has a lot to do with how that translates in our relationship dynamics, has a lot to do with how that gets mirrored back in our financial state. The Uranian energy, of course, wants us to open up our heart, our head, our minds to doing things differently, pushing the boundaries of our comfort zone. And of course, it's a hard thing to do in a fixed earth sign, such as Taurus energy, that really likes to live in the same old rut. Even though we've outgrown it, even though we pray for change, we have a hard time actually kicking our butts outside of our comfort zone. So now that Uranus is going to go direct, we're going to be able to kind of act on impulse. We're going to be able to really kind of be a little bit more spontaneous with switching things up, even when it comes to the smallest details, starting in the way that we work through our day-to-day life with our routine, with taking care of ourselves, with trying new, let's call it, ways of interacting with our favorite people. We definitely want to express this new version of self. We want to express the frustration that we're having within ourselves of resisting some of the changes that we've been praying for. But in this particular energy, and especially when, these heavier hitting planets do change up their directions, this is when we're going to see the major focus, the major topic and theme of this particular transit. So there is going to be a little bit of more of risky behavior, if you will. We're ready to roll the dice and take a chance on something different. We are more apt to rebel against the things that we've been fixated on. We really want to kind of stand up to growth. We want to change. We want to transform. We want a better situation for ourselves. We are more apt to be listening to our instincts, and we are also not afraid to kind of stir the pot, if you will, if it knows that it's going to lead us to make the changes and the transformations that we have kind of been stuck or paralyzed in making. So it is setting the tone for some spontaneous change to take place. And over the next coming of months, with Uranus being direct and some of the other astro events taking place, we are definitely going to surprise ourselves by pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone and really taking a chance, not only on this new version of self, but on other people as well.